Hey BooTube. This one I kind of had a visitor, so that's why I couldn't record till now. It's currently like 7 right now, and someone's home, and I don't want to be too loud, but at the same time I don't want to be way too quiet because I know you guys will never hear me. But this is my part 3 video to Fear the Walking Dead Season 2. I believe this is episode 6. I could never pronounce the stupid name to it. It's spelled like Sicut, and then there's a space Cervus. I know it stands for something. I'll never know what. I'll probably say it in the end of this video. But anyway, yeah, let's get to it. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, Chris threatening Alicia if she told anyone what she witnessed, which was Chris not helping Madison out when she got, practically jumped by an infected. But anyway, in the kitchen, Nick runs into Cecelia, and I think I already mentioned this, so I'm gonna bypass it. They're talking and about Luis and about the infected and all that, the dead and everything. And Madison just happens to overhear them because apparently she got out from taking a shower and she's all telling Nick to go take a shower because she could smell his stench from all the way over there. So she overhears their conversation, and when she tells Nick to take a shower, she pretty much warns Celia that Nick is very impressionable. And I think what she means by that is Nick is very prone to listening to people and following them. I don't know how to really describe that, and I'm sorry, I need to do this for some reason. I'm sorry. That's how I think, I'm playing with something. He's a follower, you know what I mean? That's what I think Madison's trying to imply, you tell him to do drugs, he'll do it with you. Like she said, very impressionable, he's kind of follow the leader type of thing. And when you get stuff in his head, he follows by it, and that's pretty much what happened, with his drug life. And look what happened with Strand. He first met Strand, they got to talking, and he ends up following Strand out of the place they were captured in. See, he is very impressionable. He's very, I wouldn't say impressionable, he's very manipulated. He could easily get manipulated to do something, which is not a very good thing in my opinion for Nick. I don't want something to happen to him, someone takes advantage of poor Nick like that, because he's very impressionable. But anyway, Daniel manages to see an outdoor shrine and gazes at all the photos of the dead there, where he also notices an owl that is carved into the tree trunk right nearby, and it's very similar to the owl that was on Luis's medallion, the one that frickin' Daniel flipped out into the ocean. And Celia posts a photo of Luis and explains to Daniel that Luis's death doesn't faze her because, if I remember correctly, I think Daniel asked why she's not that concerned about the fact that Luis is dead, right? And she basically tells him, Luis's death does not faze her because he wasn't shot in the head. So, in her own way, Luis is not dead. She thinks, like I said, kind of like Herschel, she thinks that, they're not dead. They're sick or something, She doesn't believe that her son is not truly dead until he gets shot in the head. So even if he turns into an infected, to her, he's not dead. That he'll just get better later on. And that's not a very good thing to be thinking about. That's not a very good mindset, because we all saw what happened when it came to Herschel back on the farm with the regular Walking Dead. It is not a good combination to think that they're sick or there's nothing wrong with them when they're infected or walkers, and that they're just going to get better again over time or with a cure. That's not a very good sign. Celia is cuckoo. Anyway, Madison brings some food to Thomas and Strand, who are in Thomas's little room, and they have this bonding moment. Thomas is like, "Oh, I heard some stuff about you from Strand," all that stuff, and Thomas pretty much asks Madison, when he's gone, can you look after Strand when I die? And that's saying a lot considering, obviously, I don't know about Strand. It seems like he's very bonded to Thomas, but Thomas is clearly very, very, very bonded to Strand. And for him to trust Madison, who he just met Madison. They're still strangers. They just met, right? The fact that he's trusting Madison, a complete stranger who he just met, literally, someone he truly loves and cares about when he dies, says a lot. That says a lot of trust in Madison from Thomas, and I think that's pretty cool. It really is such a shame because we all know bite victims, they don't last. They die. They're infected. Well, not really, we're all infected already, but you know what I mean. But I really hoped, Thomas seems like a really good guy, and it really sucks that's the fact that he seems like a really good guy, nice guy, but we all know in the Walking Dead universe, whether it's the normal Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, hang on, how much time do I have? 6, okay. Whether it's a normal Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, if you are the moral compass, if you're the good person in the group, you're practically signing off your death warrant right now, and it happened with Thomas Abigail. He seemed like a really nice guy. He really did. He obviously cares about Strand. We even saw it in the flashbacks. He didn't want Strand to go out there to LA? And he seems really like a good guy to the point where he even tried to stop the priests and the parishioners from doing what they're doing. I think he's obviously being manipulated by Celia into believing what she believes in. The whole, even if they turn into infected, they're not really dead and all that stuff, but he still seems like a decent guy, and it's such a shame that he obviously is going to die. Because I think he would have done well with the group, especially, with Madison, obviously, judging by what we just saw, him trusting Madison to look after Strand when he dies. And, going to Daniel, he's in total daze mode. He's not himself, and he's just sitting on top of his bed in a daze, even when Ophelia summons him to dinner. He's just not there. He's not responsive, and it's kind of worrying me, especially since in the previous episode he did hear a voice, even though the only person that was in the room besides himself was a freaking infected. So I'm worried about him. He's hearing things. He really is. And Alicia also does manage to tell somebody about Chris, what happened with Chris staring at Madison and the threat too. She tells her mother Madison. And Madison actually confronts Travis about Chris, saying, I think Chris might be sick. When I got attacked by an infected, he was right there and he didn't do anything. He literally just watched me. And when Alicia confronted him about it, he threatened her. And she keeps saying, Chris is sick. And Travis, he finds it very offensive. He defends Chris because obviously Chris is his kid, right? Alicia and Nick are Madison's kids. Chris is his, so he defends Chris, and he gets angry at Madison mainly because it's this I understand, because Travis's case, he says that when Nick was going through his drug problem and always disappearing and all that, Travis was always there for Madison. He always supported Nick even though he was a druggie and all that stuff. And he's wondering, your son had a problem. I was there for you and I helped you and helped him through it. Why can't you help me help Chris through his problem if he is sick in the head, right? And I kind of defend him on that. I understand it. That's his kid. He's protective. And the fact that, before the apocalypse, when Nick had his own problem, he was there for Nick even though Nick was not his kid. I understand that. I get that. But this is an apocalypse. And the sickness that Chris has is kind of nothing compared to Nick. Nick had a drug problem. Okay, I get that. That is a sickness. Being a drug addict is a sickness. But Chris could be literally being a sociopath killer. That is a whole new different kind of sickness. And that might overshadow the whole Travis's defense on his son. I'm just saying. Madison, she's baffled by this, so she decides to sleep in Alicia's room for protection while Travis sleeps in his room with Chris. And right now I have to pause this video real quick. What am I, 10 minutes in? I'll pause it and I'll be right back, okay? Sorry about that, guys. I thought I heard something. But anyway, long stretch. Let's go. I only have like this much. Like this much, maybe. Anyway, Strand. He pretty much urges Thomas to end his own suffering. Let go of life, you know? Because it looks like Thomas is trying to fight to live a little longer. And Strand pretty much tells Thomas, you know, stop trying to fight it, just let go, and I will go with you, right? Apparently, Strand is literally offering to kill himself so they could remain together even after death. And it's like, okay, we've seen this in a couple Walking Dead things. Like, I know for a fact in my Walking Dead game, the Season 1, Telltale one, I remember the characters there actually do see, like, two dead bodies next to each other, obviously a couple, and they obviously killed themselves to avoid all this apocalypse stuff. So we're no strangers to this. And even in the season 1 of the original Walking Dead show, that one lady, I forgot her name already, she was that African American lady that was part of the Atlanta group. She volunteered to stay behind the CDC. Remember that? She opted herself. And so we're no strangers to people just ending their lives so they don't have to deal with this apocalypse shit, right? And yeah. Here's something that happened during the episode I thought was highly disturbing. I got mad. I literally did, because I'm an animal lover, especially dogs. So, Daniel, he's taking a nighttime stroll around the vicinity, and he sees this young boy named Juan literally holding a dog in his hand. And it's like crying. And he pretty much places it down a chute that leads down to the wine cellar. And you obviously know something's down there because you hear the dog crying, squealing, and you hear growling noises. So it's like, please tell me that little boy did not just feed a dog to a shitload of walkers. Because if that's the case, fuck that kid. Throw the kid down in the damn cellar. Because I am an animal lover. I've had 3 dogs. My 3rd dog is right there. I love my baby. I am against death of dogs. That's why in the original Walking Dead, when I saw the group, I forgot which, was it season 5? This is after Beth got shot, obviously. They're on the road and they're starving, and these wild dogs come out of nowhere and they kill them. Well, they don't really, they don't show that they killed dogs, but you could tell that they're starving. They're looking at them like all hungry and shit. They're obviously going to kill them. And they ended up killing them off screen because they're all barbecued and shit and eating them. So it's like, fuck! At least we didn't see the death there. We actually saw the kid throw the dog, not really throw, but place the dog in the chute, and you obviously know that dog died. And it's like, you motherfuckers. I'm sorry for my cursing, but I am a huge animal lover, and that's a no bueno, in my opinion. But anyway, Ophelia wants to go to the shrine to apparently pray, to offer prayers to her mother, and Nick accompanies her there. And while she's praying, Nick has like this moment where he's just zoned out, kind of like Daniel did earlier. He's like totally thinking of like a flashback, and Nick ends up getting like a flashback moment when he sees that same owl carving in the tree, and he ends up having a flashback back at the drug den that he was at in the beginning of this the first season, back at LA at the church, where remember he saw his friend feasting on a body because you know she wasn't infected. And back with Daniel, he follows that boy Juan down to the wine cellar, and he sees that Juan is talking to somebody, and you know they're talking Spanish, and he's asking, who are you talking to? Juan explains that he's talking to his mother, and he's like, your mother's there? Can you introduce us? The kid's hesitant, but he does let Daniel through, and he enters the cellar and sees the cell full of infected people. So yeah, the kid fed a dog to infected. Just put him down the chute. Put the kid down the chute. Anyway, I am running out of time. I will see you guys in the next video, okay?